Please be seated, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin, I will ask you whether anyone participated in or overheard conversations regarding the case or took steps to research any information or were purposely or inadvertently exposed to any information about the case. I see no hands. Thank you very much. We'll begin today continuing the state's presentation of evidence. If you would call your witness, please.
Yes, the state calls Detective Blanke.
Detective, if you're able to safely and responsibly testify without a mask, that would be our preference. Thank you very much. If you'll stand, my clerk will administer the oath.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Go right ahead.
Good morning. Could you please just state your name for the record?
Timothy Blanke?
And you've testified previously in this trial.
Yes.
During the course of this investigation, you were one of the detectives in charge of warrants and subpoenas for documents and business records.
Yes.
And did you, during the course of the investigation, in fact, write a search warrant or subpoena for TDS?
Yes.
And why did you write a warrant or subpoena for TDS?
In reviewing records from Google, we noted a consistent trend of IP addresses being used to log into various Google accounts.
And what is an IP address?
An IP address is an internet protocol address. It's essentially a series of numbers, or in some cases, letters and numbers that identify either a specific network or a specific device used to connect to other devices or networks on the internet.
And generally speaking, assuming that a home only has one internet account, would the activity that went through that home's Wi-Fi have the same IP address?
Yes.
So if you were at 4595 Oak Springs Drive, you would, and you use their Wi-Fi, you would have the TDS account that home paid for. That
Yes.
internet account.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as 483 and 484. Could you please identify 483 and 484?
483 is a certification of business records from TDS. And 484 is the records themselves.
Okay. And do they give you the IP address for the 4595 Oak Springs Circle address in Windsor, Wisconsin?
Yes.
And what is that IP address?
69.130.255.56.
And that's the account that Bart Halderson paid for. That was his internet user, or his internet company was TDS.
Yes.
At this time, I would move 483 and 484 into evidence.
No objection.
They are received. Counsel, at what point would you like me to read the stipulation regarding the business records?
After this witness?
Sure. Okay, very good.
And as already been explained to the jury, there was a bunch of email accounts in this case that became relevant or of interest.
Yes.
And those included Aaron Hoover at gmail.com, Alyssa Brandt 64 at gmail.com, as well as Chandler Halderson at gmail.com, Spieth Daniel at gmail.com, and Chaninja at gmail.com.
Yes.
And did you write warrants for those various accounts?
Yes, I did.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as 479, 480, 482, 450, 451, 452, as well as 453. How would you describe these various documents as a group?
These are all Google records for various Gmail accounts.
And let's go through them one by one. 451, what is exhibit 451?
451 appears to be the certificate of authenticity from Google Incorporated for Chandler Halderson at gmail.com, as well as chninjalderson at gmail.com.
So not that uncommon. People often have more than one email.
Correct.
Okay. And they both have part of his name in that. Does this appear to be a true and accurate copy of what you received from Google?
Yes.
I would move exhibit 451 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
452, how would you describe 452 to the jury?
452 is also a certificate of authenticity for Chandler Halderson at gmail.com, as well as a chninjalderson at gmail.com.
Okay, true and accurate copy?
Yes.
I would move exhibit 452 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And the dates are just different on those, a different date range of emails, records.
Correct.
Okay. Exhibit 450, how would you identify exhibit 450?
450 is also a certificate of authenticity for Chandler Halderson at gmail.com, also from Google.
Again, different dates than the other two. I would move exhibit 450 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
482, how would you describe document 482?
482 is a certificate of authenticity for Aaron.Hoover, MATC, at gmail.com, Alyssa Brandt, 64, at gmail.com, Spieth Daniel at gmail.com, and Jackstrap Cowboy 625 at gmail.com.
I would move 482 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
How would you describe 480?
480 is Google subscriber information for Alyssa Brandt 64 at gmail.com.
And that has information such as when the account was created, the IP address, and other such information.
Yes.
I would move 480 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
How would you describe document 481?
481 is the subscriber information for Spieth Daniel at gmail.com.
And again, has all that information such as creation date, backup phone, etc.
Yes.
I would move 481 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And finally, 479. How would you describe document 479?
479 is the Google subscriber information for Aaron.Hoover, MATC at gmail.com.
All right, and I would move 479 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And I would also move 453, which is just a USB of the records
No.
already in evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
Now, a lot of this is somewhat technical information, not particularly user-friendly to people that aren't technologically inclined like myself. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, so we put together this chart, Exhibit 565. How would you describe Exhibit 565?
565 is a listing of the email accounts we've discussed, along with their dates of creation, the IP address of creation, the subscriber for each IP address, as well as the recovery phone number for the accounts, and the date of birth for the accounts.
Okay. At this time, I would move, and you checked this information and made sure it was the same information in all of these documents.
Yes.
Okay, I would move 565 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
All right, and here's just a copy of 565. I would ask to publish.
You may publish.
Oh. So while the OMO is warming up, Detective, there's some known information also on this chart, Exhibit 565, towards the bottom. And one of those is the IP address of 4595 Oak Spring Circle.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the IP address starting with 69.
Yes.
And then we also have Chandler Halderson's birthday, and what is that date?
March 15th of 1998.
And that was gathered from a driver's license and also from the interview of Mr. Halderson.
Yes.
And we also have Chandler Halderson's phone number, which was 920-838-4549.
Yes.
And that was confirmed via phone records from the company.
Yes.
Pull it up on my computer and have a look at it that way. Okay. Okay. We're having a technical issue there, so I'm gonna attach it to my computer. How do I get it to my? This is the problem with my computer. Is it warming up, Lindsay?
It is, if you would like to use that.
Can we, that's working? Yeah. Let's go ahead and come.
All right. Sorry about that delay, everyone. Okay. All right, so that chart, it might be a little hard to read, but just, and that's why I gave you a copy, detective. Aaron Hoover, matc@gmail.com. What was the IP creation address?
69.130.255.56.
And again, that is the IP address associated with the Oak Spring Circle.
Yes.
And was a recovery phone number used in setting up that account?
No.
And a recovery phone number, again, is a phone number that you can put in when you create an email address in case you ever forget your password.
Correct.
Okay. And what was the date of birth of that is listed under that account?
February 11th of 1988.
Let's move to Alyssa Brandt 64@gmail.com. What is the IP address of creation?
August 18th of 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the date of creation. What is the IP address?
69.130.255.56.
So again, the Bart Halderson internet account.
Yes.
So that email was created connected to that Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And what, if any, recovery phone number was listed?
There is none.
And what date of birth was listed?
March 15th of 1998.
Chandler Halderson's birthday.
Yes.
All right, what about Chandler Halderson@gmail.com? What was the date of creation?
January 20th of 2020.
And what was the IP address of creation?
69.130.255.56.
Again, the Halderson address is Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And what was the recovery phone number for the Chandler Halderson Gmail?
920-838-4549.
And the date of birth listed.
March 15th of 1998.
And SpiethDaniel@gmail.com. What was the date of creation?
August 5th, 2020.
And what was the IP address of creation?
68.113.249 .195.
So that one is on a different Wi-Fi account.
Yes.
Okay. What is the recovery phone number for spiethdaniel@gmail.com?
920-838-4549.
So Chandler Halderson's phone number is the phone number for the recovery.
Yes.
And what is the date of birth listed for spiethdaniel@gmail.com?
March 15th of 1998.
Chandler Halderson's birthday?
Yes.
So Detective, during the course of this investigation, did you also download some phones?
Yes.
How do you download a phone?
The phone needs to be connected to a computer running appropriate forensic software, and then perform a data acquisition from the device.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
The phone needs to be connected to a computer running forensic software, and then you're able to acquire data from a device.
And do you always get the same sort of data with every type of phone?
No.
Explain that.
There's a number of reasons why we get different data from different devices. First of all, different devices retain different types of information. For example, a brand new iPhone is going to retain different data versus an Android phone. Older phones typically do not retain the same information as well. There's a variety of reasons why phones don't all retain the same type of information.
And in this case, one of the phones that you dumped or downloaded was an old-fashioned flip phone.
Yes.
And I'm approaching you with Exhibit 550. How would you describe Exhibit 550?
Exhibit 550 is an extraction report.
And for what phone was Exhibit 550, the extraction report for?
That was a flip phone that was
These
submitted.
are often called burner phones
Yes.
because you can pay as you go and throw them away when you're done.
Yes.
And is this the phone in particular that you, I will let you look at that you downloaded in document 550?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 550 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
And because it's a flip phone, what sort of information, if any, were you able to get off of a flip phone?
I was not able to extract any data from the phone itself.
Were you able to determine what the phone number was
Yes.
for this burner phone?
Yes.
And what is the phone number of this burner phone?
The phone number is 608-598-7868.
And during the course of the investigation, did you download a phone that was associated with Bart Halderson?
Yes.
And what sort of data, if any, were you able to get from Bart Halderson's phone?
From his phone, we recovered a variety of data, including photographs, videos, call logs, text content, I believe some web browsing history.
And Bart had an iPhone?
Yes.
And if I bring you some iPhones, would you be able to tell which one?
Possibly.
I know it's one of these two. And it's okay if you can't. But it was the one associated with Bart Halderson
Yes.
that was hidden in his shoe with his driver's license.
Yes.
Okay. And you were able to download his data into some sort of report?
Yes.
Describe that.
When the data is acquired from the phone, essentially you have raw data, which is not real useful to the layperson. So we move the data to the physical analyzer program, which then allows for a much more user-friendly viewing of the data.
And what sort of information can you get from a phone like Bart's?
Again, we see photographs that may be saved. We may see videos, phone call logs, text content, contacts. For example, if I entered you as a contact in my phone, I would get a list of those contacts. Possibly web browser history.
And I'm showing you what has been marked as 497. Could you please describe exhibit 497?
497 is the USB drive of the download from Bart Halderson's cell phone.
And you provided a true and accurate copy of that download?
Yes.
All right, I would move exhibit 497 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Turning first to that phone download process that you just talked about.
Yes.
How many phones did you download for that data acquisition in connection with this case?
With this case? I believe 2.
Those would be Bart's phone and who else?
Ms. Melender's phone.
Now, when you download those phones and create these reports, do you look at them to see what they contain, or do you just simply give those reports to others who look for things of evidentiary value?
Depends on the case.
What did you do in this case?
In some cases, I believe I did view some of the evidence, yes.
So the information you downloaded was reviewed, and anything of evidentiary value from the sheriff's department's view was found, correct?
Possibly.
Well, let me put it this way. When you write reports, if you do something, or if you look at something and you determine it's not relevant to the case, you might write in that report, no evidentiary value.
Correct.
That's the only thing I have. Thank you.
Redirect?
Nothing.
May this witness be excused?
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good rest of your day. Sure. See if it's working.
Let's just leave it there.
Okay.
The state will call Sabrina Sims to the stand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
If you're still comfortable to testify without your mask, that would be fine. If you need to wear it today and believe that's important, you could. Well, thank you.
Judge, before we get started, would you mind, I think, reading the stipulation as it has to do with business records at this time?
Certainly. Oh, I do have it. And I just found the stipulation I emailed counsel about, so don't worry about that. I do have that here. Ladies and gentlemen, the district attorney and the attorneys for the defendant have stipulated and agreed to the existence of certain facts, and you must accept these facts as conclusively proved. The parties stipulate that the records produced by the below companies and organizations are authentic records, and there is no dispute to the accuracy of the records. Wisconsin law provides that records produced by businesses and organizations can be considered self-authenticating when certain conditions are met. The parties stipulate such conditions have been met regarding the records in this case. This stipulation concerns records produced by, number 1, Apple Inc., number 2, Discord Inc., number 3, Google Inc., number 4, Madison College, number 5, PayPal Inc., number 6, Settlers Bank, number 7, Snap Incorporated, number 8, Square Incorporated, number 9, TDS Communications LLC, number 10, US Cellular, and finally number 11, UW Health / CIOX Health.
What's up?
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
As one of the 2 lead case detectives on this case, was one of your roles to review the email accounts that we just heard Detective Blanke testify about getting all those records?
Yes,
And when I say review these email accounts, did you in fact go through and read all of the emails?
yes,
So specifically, I'm going to talk to you today about 4 different email accounts. Chandler Halderson at gmail.com, Spieth Daniel at gmail.com, Alyssa Brandt 64 at gmail.com, and Aaron Hoover at gmail.com. Did you review those email accounts?
yes, I did.
As it goes to Mr. Spieth, Ms. Brandt, and Mr. Hoover, we're going to talk about essentially the entirety of those email accounts, correct?
That's correct.
From creation through when you got access to them.
That's correct.
As it comes to Mr. Halderson, Chandler Halderson at gmail.com, that was his personal email?
Yes,
Were there an extensive amount of emails in that account?
I'd say there were.
Did you review those emails?
Yes,
Were there ever any emails to or from anyone at American Family Insurance indicating that Mr. Halderson worked there in any capacity?
specifically American Family, no.
When it comes to the company SpaceX, were there ever any emails regarding a job application or employments with SpaceX?
No,
Does the word SpaceX come up, in fact, at all in any of those Gmail, Mr. Halderson's Gmail account?
no,
Does this document contain messages, emails, this is 549 I'm showing you, that were pulled out by you and other members of law enforcement in what you believe to be relevant to this case?
yes,
Okay. I'll move exhibit number 549 into evidence.
Any objection other than as noted?
No.
And I'll note for the record, 575 is a USB containing it for display, and I'd move 575 into evidence and ask to publish it.
Those exhibits are received and may be published.
All right. So when we're talking about Mr. Halderson's actual Gmail account, were there emails in that account in between him and these people, supposedly someone named Mr. Spieth, Ms. Brandt, and Mr. Hoover? Did Mr. Halderson's own Gmail account contain those messages?
yes,
And for purposes of what we're going to look at just first, talking about Mr. Halderson's Gmail account, We did not include those because we're going to look at them when we look at these accounts, right?
That's correct.
Okay. What types of messages were you looking for when looking at chandlerhalderson@gmail.com? What were you trying to figure out?
Any communication with anyone from Madison College, anything related to his employment, either at SpaceX or American Family, any communications with his parents, anyone else. If we identified somebody within the email that we would like to contact, then we went and maybe did an interview of somebody within that email.
Okay. So we're going to look at a number of emails, and we'll start with number 30. We'll just start here. This doesn't look like a normal email. It's in a different format. Tell us about the format that we're looking at these in.
Sure. As Detective Blanke just spoke to, the data that he provides us to review as case detectives is within the Cellbrite Reader program. And so we can generate reports from the emails. And again, this is just number 30 within the report we created. On the left is the number 30, the timestamp and date. And then the subject of the emails is to the right of your screen.
Sure. And so this one we'll just talk about its makeup, and we won't do that for all of them. So 30 is a number created by Cellbrite on the far left. That just is the number of the email.
That's correct.
All right. The timestamp, there it says June 7th, 2021 at 8:13 a.m. As we go through this, we won't talk about time a lot, but is that time specifically accurate in this program?
In this program, in this particular report, it is not. So the UTC -5 is in regards to, you actually should add the 5 hours back to the email time. Detective Blanke informed me that the Google records were actually received in our central time, and Cellbrite Reader program subtracted 5 hours.
So while the times might not be super relevant today, but if the jury looks at that, they should just think it's plus 5 hours each time.
That's correct.
Okay. And so then at the very top of the column on the right, we have the subject of the email, which is the subject line we always think of in an email.
Yes.
And here it's email from MATC. And the body, that's the actual email that was sent.
Yes, it is.
All right. And we have this one, Chaz, I did not receive the email string regarding the appointment on Thursday. Please send to me, signed Bart Halderson. And Bart Halderson's email is what?
bhalderson@bdo.com.
What is BDO?
It was Bart's place of employment.
His accounting firm?
Yes.
Okay. So you went through these emails and pulled out ones relevant as you've discussed, and so we'll start going through those. Talk to me about email 20. If you could just, we have to read it into the record, of course. So I'll just say that it was on June 11th, 2021. The subject was HR. What did that email read?
Did you email HR to inquire about your paycheck? Unless there is something that you are not telling us, they have had ample time to pay you. Bart Halderson.
And that was from Bart to Chandler.
That's correct.
Email 19 on June 11th, 2021. The subject, HR, from Chandler to Bart. Could you read the response, essentially?
I added him to my room queue, so hopefully soon.
Again, on the same day, we have email number 18. The subject is payment, and it's from Chandler to someone named Tom Selznick at protonmail.com. Could you read the body of that email?
Good afternoon. My name is Chandler Halderson. I was recently made aware of you taking my case. Can I have an explanation of why I haven't been paid yet? Thank you, Chandler.
And then if you look at the time on this one, it's 8:49:35. But shortly after that, on June 11th, obviously we're adding that 5 hours. So June 11th, 2021, Mr. Selznick, someone named Tom Selznick at protonmail.com, emails Chandler Halderson in response. What does he say?
Hi, Chandler. I was given your case on Tuesday. However, I have contacted your payroll company and have determined a few issues. 1, you are registered as salary, however, you are making an hourly wage. 2, for 2 months, the payroll company saw your name and dues as a clerical error. Unfortunately, you have been making $25 an hour when your salary states you should be making $61,000 annually. This is around a $10,000 difference annually. When I get in contact with payroll, I will show them exactly when you were switched and find out why there was a delay on your dues. Have a great rest of your Friday. Tom Selznick. Tom Selznick, Northeast Remote Human Recourses, manager.
Email 16 on the same day, June 11th, from Selznick to Chandler. Could you read that?
I updated the log and changed your dues. I'll let payroll know of the change. Keep an eye on your bank account and let me know if you have not been paid by next Friday. Tom Selznick. Northeast, oh, sorry.
You can continue.
Northeast Remote Human Resources Manager.
Number 13, this is again, June 11th, from Chandler back to Mr. Selznick. What does it read?
When is payday for me? I was wondering when I'd get paid.
From email 12, same day, June 11th, 2021, from Mr. Selznick to Mr. Halderson. What does it read?
First payment ASAP, then the first Friday of each month. Tom Selznick.
Email 10, from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Selznick on the 17th of June now. What does it read?
Good evening. I was hoping to hear the status of my check. Is there anything wrong or holding it back from being delivered? I recently had to go to the emergency room, so I will need my check ASAP. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 9, June 18th, from Mr. Selznick to Mr. Halderson. The subject is still regarding payment. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning, Chandler. I will make some calls when your office opens to speed things along. I'm sorry to hear about your trip to the ER. That's never fun. I do appreciate your patience with this, Tom Selznick.
Okay. Email number 7 on the 18th of June from Mr. Selznick, Mr. Halderson, still regarding payment. Could you read the body of that email?
I will be traveling to Madison, Wisconsin, Wednesday of next week for restructuring of the HR department. It seems there is a lack of communication to be resolved. I will hope to meet you in person and have a sit down on Thursday if you are capable of travel. Tom Selznick.
Email 6 on the 18th of June from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Selznick. Could you read the body of that email?
Yes, that will work fine. I look forward to meeting with you. Thank you, Chandler.
Now to email 4 from Mr. Selznick to Mr. Halderson on the 24th of June. Subject meeting times. What did Mr. Selznick reportedly say here?
Good morning, Chandler. I'm holding a board meeting this afternoon to discuss the changes I've made to the department. If I am able to meet with you today, I will join your room around lunch over Team Viewer. My apologies for the inconvenience. However, there would not be enough members tomorrow to hold the committee.
Email number 3 from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Selznick. Meeting times. Could you read the body of that email?
I will be available 12 to 5 p.m. today in my room. I would like to be kept up to date with any news regarding my case. Thank you, Chandler.
That person, Tom Selznick, we heard about a lot of subpoenas from Alyssa Brandt and Hoover and Chandler, all at gmail.com. Tom Selznick at protonmail.com. Were you able to subpoena Proton Mail?
We did not subpoena Proton Mail.
What goes into that decision, or why not?
After reviewing the emails, Detective Shunk and I had a conversation with Detective Blanke in regards to the Proton Mail, and we learned that it's an email server based out of Switzerland. So based upon that information, we opted to not draft a subpoena for the records, and we decided to contact American Family directly to ask if Tom Selznick was an employee there.
Sure. And you made contact with those people?
We did.
And in fact, we're going to hear from them today?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take back this exhibit from you. Showing it's been marked in this case, exhibit number 478. If you could page through that real quick and let me know what that is.
Exhibit 478 appears to be the spiethdaniel@gmail.com emails from the Google search warrant return.
I'll move that exhibit to evidence. publish it.
Any objection? Other than the
Nothing
stand?
further.
Very good. It is received.
So when it comes to Mr. Spieth, and I'll actually let you keep it in case you just need help reading, that's exhibit number 478. We're gonna look at the entirety of the email, meaning all the emails sent from that account.
That's correct.
And so why are we looking at email 20? What does this show us?
This was the first email sent to this account. So there were 20 emails total. This particular email, reading the subject line, is finish setting up your new Google account, August 5th, 2020.
In your experience, is this the email you get when you set up a new Google account right away?
It is.
Email 19. So the account was set up on August 5th, and then right away on that same day, 2020, Mr. Spieth at gmail.com emails Bart Halderson at wirr.com and Chandler Halderson at gmail.com. Subject Zoom meeting. The B Halderson at wirr.com, was that another one from Mr. Bart Halderson's emails?
Yes.
Okay. What does this email say on the date of creation of this account?
Hello, my name is Daniel Spieth. I just spoke to Chandler on the phone earlier today, and I will be handling this ticket. Unfortunately, I will not be able to hold the meeting until Tuesday, the 11th at 10:30 a.m. If there are any conflicts, please let me know as soon as possible to reschedule. When the call starts at 10:15, I will send the link. Zoom is a browser application that will need access to your camera and microphone, so be sure to allow them when prompted. Thank you and have a great rest of your day. Daniel Spieth.
Email 18, 5th from Mr. Spieth to Mr. Halderson and Chandler. What are we looking at there?
It appears it's an email sent with no subject or body.
17, which is again August 5th from Bart Halderson to Daniel Spieth. Regarding the Zoom meeting, what does it read in the body?
Daniel, that time will work. Please send Zoom details to my work email, bhalderson@bdo.com. Thank you, Bart.
Email 16, the 10th of August 2020 from Mr. Spieth to Mr. Bart Halderson. Subject is schedule alteration. What does Mr. Spieth have to say here?
First of all, I apologize. Recently, I have had a close family member become infected with coronavirus. I will appoint a coworker to the ticket of Chandler Halderson as soon as possible. I will be in the office. Log on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Chandler, call me at 9 a.m. tomorrow for further details. I apologize for any inconvenience. Daniel Spieth.
Number 15, the 26th of August 2020. What is this email?
This is an email from Google in regards to a security alert that a new device has signed into the account of spiethdaniel@gmail.com. The exhibit's up there.
Number 14, same type of thing.
Yes, again, this is an email from Google, the subject being Daniel finished setting up your Apple iPhone with the latest Google apps. In regards to setting up, it appears to be a new phone associated to the account.
And these are just emails in your experience. Do these emails just come through on email accounts when random things happen? You're using a new device or something along those lines?
Yes, that's correct.
Nothing weird about this.
No.
Talk about email 13. Are you aware of what this is on the 26th of August 2020?
Yeah, this just appears to be an email sent to Bart Halderson from Daniel Spieth, no subject line and no body within that email.
Email 12, 26th of August 2020, from Mr. Spieth to Mr. Halderson, subject meeting. What did the body say there?
Good morning. Chandler was recently informed his counselor was not going to be able to make it to her meetings for the day, so he gave me a call. I will be remotely conducting his meeting today. He also sent me a list of topics to have ready. I have full access to the servers, so I have the information. He gave me your contact information. Does 9:30 or 10 work for you to answer a call? Speak to you soon, Daniel Spieth.
Email 11, the 26th again, Mr. Spieth, Mr. Halderson. What does that email say?
I have approved his renewable energy certificate. Is the address on file 4595 Oak Springs Circle, DeForest, Wisconsin, correct?
Email 10, January 26, Mr. Halderson and Mr. Spieth. What does that email say?
I can make either work. I just need to be done by 11:15.
Email 8, Halderson to Spieth. Now we're on the 26th. Still on the 26th. What does that email say?
I believe Chandler is in a meeting with a potential employer until 10. Did he say it was okay to have the call without him?
Email 7, Mr. Halderson and Mr. Spieth. On the 9th of September 2020. The subject is status update. What did Bart Halderson say to Mr. Spieth at this time?
Daniel, can you please give me an update on Chandler's account? I need to know the following items. Has his account been set up so that he can request transcripts? Has the national database been updated so that student aid can see that he is registered as an FT, meaning full-time student? When will we receive his certificate for completing the solar energy program? Thank you.
Email 6, 23rd October now, Mr. Halderson and Mr. Spieth. What are we looking at there?
The subject is progress update. Daniel, will you please provide me a summary of where you are resolving the open items for Chandler? New account is active. Registered in the IT degree program. Able to sign up for spring semester classes. Transcripts can be generated and picked up. Solar certificate has been signed and will be sent. National database has been updated for financial aid. Thank you, Bart Halderson.
Halderson to Daniel Spieth, grabbing college transcripts on November 2nd, 2020. Could you tell us what Chandler told Mr. Spieth?
Good morning, Mr. Spieth. Could you please send my transcripts to my home address? There is a program with my insurance to help save me money with a good GPA. If you or someone you trust could do that as soon as possible, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Chandler Halderson.
Email 4, on November 18th, 2020. What is this the same email that you see from YouTube with your Gmail account?
Yep, it appears to just be an email from YouTube in regards to changes for terms of service.
Email 3, from Mr. Spieth to Chandler Halderson. I think it was cut off there. What does this one read?
The subject is federal and insurance. The body reads, Dear Chandler, I believe I have finally gotten through to your federal loans and am getting squared away with them. I am also drafting your letter for insurance. Would a PDF copy work for you?
And you have the book in front of you, just because it's cut off.
Sure.
Confirm who Mr. Spieth sent that email to.
Email 3 is to Chandler Halderson at Gmail from Daniel Spieth at gmail.com.
Number 2, now we're into December 9th, 2020, just another Google email at that time.
Yes, that's correct.
And 1, we're looking at the same thing.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to Mr. Daniel Spieth, so spiethdaniel@gmail.com, we've already looked at exhibit number 565. Was the phone number, the backup recovery phone number used to create this Daniel Spieth email, was that Chandler Halderson's cell phone?
Yes, it was.
And was the birthday that was used when he created that Daniel Spieth Google account, is that Chandler Halderson's birthday?
Yes, it is.
And in reviewing the account of Mr. Spieth, who's purporting to be an advisor of some sort at MATC, did he ever advise any students other than Chandler Halderson?
No, he did not.
So we'll take just maybe 1 minute. Council's looking at the next exhibit, so everyone can take
Oh,
a
I can stop.
Very good. Pardon?
Oh, I can stop if we're,
Oh, no, yeah, finish up.
oh, you need it? I've had enough time to see it.
Showing you now what's been marked in this case, exhibit number 477. What is this document here?
Exhibit 477 is the Alyssa Brandt 64@gmail.com email return for this account from Google.
And in the course of working on this case, as the case detective, did you review the Alyssa Brandt 64 email?
Yes, I did.
And we're going to look at those, are we not?
Yes.
All right, I'll move to publish that exhibit.
You may. I think it has to be moved to be received.
I'll move it and yes, publish it.
And it is received.
Well,
Any specific objections at this time?
nothing in addition to my prior objection.
It is received.
So what are we looking at in email 47?
Email 47 is an email from Google in regards to finish setting up your Google account, sent when the account was created.
So we're looking at August 18th, 2020.
Correct.
So is there some overlap with all of these emails, the Spieth, the Hoover, the Brandt? There's going to be some overlap in time, is there not?
Yes, there is.
Let's talk about email 46 from Chandler Halderson, the day of this account was created on the 18th. Chandler Halderson is someone named Alyssa Brandt 64@gmail.com. The subject is scheduled times. Could you tell us what the body says?
Good morning, Alyssa. We spoke on the phone yesterday, and I was wondering if you had sent the email to bhalderson@bdo.com. If you could, at your earliest convenience, that would be great. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 45, and on the 18th, Ms. Brandt to Mr. Halderson regarding scheduled times. Could you read the body of that email?
I apologize for the late reply. I am currently waiting on 2 advisors to send in their open times. And I'm glad you sent an email because I had the address of bhalderson@bmo.com. I will have the times before the end of the workday.
44, on the 19th, August 2020, Mr. Halderson, Bart Halderson, to Alyssa Brandt 64, labeled Chandler Halderson as the subject. Could you read the body of that?
Alyssa, I wanted to reach out since I have not received an email from you with tentative dates and times to discuss Chandler's account and student status. As you might be aware, this is causing issues with financial aid and insurance, but also giving me other concerns. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter, as we have been trying to resolve this for countless months.
Email 43, the 19th of August 2020, Ms. Brandt to Mr. Halderson. Regarding Chandler Halderson, could you read the body of that?
Good afternoon. Currently, we have a shortage of advisors, so the earliest I could make time for Chandler is on Wednesday, the 26th at 10:30 a.m. However, 2 advisors still have not returned my email, but I will let you know as soon as they get back to me. I was waiting to hear from them this morning because Chandler made a point to have it held yet this week. I have already sent a second follow-up email to the 2 advisors and to the financial aid manager. I apologize for the delay, Alyssa.
Number 42, the 19th of August 2020, Mr. Halderson to Alyssa Brandt regarding Chandler Halderson. Could you read the body of that?
Thank you for the update. I blocked the time on the 26th, but would also like to resolve sooner. My wife and I are off on Friday and could meet in person if it would help to resolve this.
Email 41, now on the 25th of August 2020, from Bart Halderson to Alyssa Brandt. Could you read that email?
Alyssa, I have not received any updates for the call meeting tomorrow. I assume this is a call or virtual meeting, but have not received the dial-in information. If this is an in-person meeting, I need to know where we are meeting. Can you confirm that this is still on the calendar and who we will be talking with? Thank you.
Email 40, 26th of August 2020, just a Google email again.
That's correct.
39, same thing.
Yes.
38, a YouTube email, correct?
That's correct.
YouTube is owned by Google, and that's why there's some interaction in the programs.
Yes.
Okay. 37, we're looking at another data email from Google. 36, are we looking at the same thing?
That's correct.
35, same thing. 34. So when we get to 34, we're talking now we've moved forward quite a bit. May 24th of this past year, 2021. The subject is reschedule. It's from Chandler to Alyssa Brandt, 64. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning. My name is Chandler Halderson. Unfortunately, I haven't taken well to the vaccine and am not feeling well enough to make it to my appointment with Aaron Hoover at 10 a.m. today. Is there another time within the week I could reschedule to? Thank you, Chandler.
A couple questions about this email as we go through. This is the first mention that you saw of someone named Aaron Hoover,
Yes, it was.
and that's another email account we're going to talk about?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to message 33. This is on May 25th, 2021, from Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson regarding rescheduling, or reschedule, excuse me. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning, Chandler. I'm sorry to hear you are not feeling well. I didn't have the best experience with it either. I moved you to Monday at 10 a.m. with Aaron. Starting next week, any guest in the building without their student ID is required to have their vaccine card and driver's license. I hope you feel better soon, Alyssa.
Email 32, the 25th again of May, Ms. Brandt to Mr. Halderson regarding that reschedule. What does that say?
There is an opening on Friday at 2 p.m. with Aaron. Would you like that slot?
Email 31, 25th of May, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. What does that say?
Unfortunately, I can't take any time off this week because of the 2 days I'm missing from work already. So Monday still will be best. Thanks.
Number 30, same day, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. What does that say?
Is there a possibility of getting my meeting back, or could I get the Friday?
29, same day, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt. What do we have there?
Anything would work this week, if not today.
Email 28, again on the 25th, Mr. Halderson to Alyssa Brandt, same subject line. What does that say?
I'm sorry to be pushy. I forgot that it was a holiday weekend and will push through to go to my meeting.
Email 27. Now we have an email from Alyssa Brandt responding to Chandler Halderson in that same subject line. What does that email read?
Unfortunately, I've already bumped the waiting list into place. I'll put you in the number 1 slot to see if you can get in today. Otherwise, the next appointment is on Friday at 2 p.m.
Number 26, again on the 25th, Mr. Halderson to Alyssa Brandt, same subject line. Could you read that?
I appreciate it. I will be available at any time you give me. Even a video call today would work. My dad only has a few hours off today.
Email 25, on the 25th of May, Alyssa Brandt emailing Chandler Halderson, back in the same subject line. What does that email read?
I will give you a call as soon as I find an opening. Until then, you have Friday at 2 p.m. I hope it can work for you.
Number 24, on the 28th of May, Ms. Brandt emails Chandler Halderson, subject line, schedule changes. What does that say?
Dear students, keep watch for scheduling changes. We are short-staffed today, and there likely will be day and time shifts for your meeting. Keep an eye out for an email or call from either me or your advisor. Have a great weekend, Alyssa Brandt.
Just briefly, maybe this is a good email to point it out. In the email itself, Brandt is spelled B-R-A-N-T, is that correct?
That's correct.
What is the registered name? How is that spelled?
Alyssa is spelled the same, A-L-Y-S-S-A, and the last name is B-R-A-N, N as in Nancy, D as in David, T as in Tom. So B-R-A-N-D-T.
And in the actual email body, when she uses the last name, it's without the D, but just with the T.
That's correct.
Okay. Email 23, 28th of May, Chandler Halderson emails Alyssa Brandt regarding the schedule changes. What does he say?
Good morning. Is there a problem with my meeting? I have waited a long time for a meeting, and my employers need my transcripts ASAP. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 22, again on the 28th, Alyssa Brandt emails Chandler Halderson back regarding that same subject matter. What does she say?
Your advisor will contact you directly. The advisement director is handling the situation as we speak. If there are changes, you will be made aware shortly.
21, on the 28th again, Mr. Halderson, back to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. He responds, what?
Okay, thank you.
Email 20, again on the 28th, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. Could you read the body of that email?
My meeting was altered. Is there a person I can call? I need answers to my questions ASAP.
Email 19, again on the 28th, from Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson, same subject line of schedule changes. Could you read the body of that email, please?
I will find someone free to call you. Thank you for your patience.
Email 18, we're still on the 28th, from Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson regarding the schedule changes. What does Ms. Brandt say to Mr. Halderson?
Your phone number is 920-838-4549, correct?
And then just a question, that is in fact Mr. Halderson's cell phone number.
Yes, it is.
Number 17, still on the 28th, Mr. Halderson emails Alyssa Brandt regarding that exact question. And what does he say?
Yes, that is correct.
Email 16, 28th still, Alyssa Brandt emails Chandler Halderson, same subject line. Read that email.
Great. I'm still doing my best to find someone free to give you a call, but I'm positive I'll find someone. Thank you for your patience.
Email 15, Mr. Halderson emails Alyssa Brandt, same day, same subject line. Could you read that one?
Could I please have your phone number so you could help shed light on this situation?
There was no response to that email with a phone number or anything because the next email is on the 1st, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Email 14, June 1st, 2021, from Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt regarding those schedule changes. What does that email read?
Good afternoon. I'm checking to see if there's been any progress on the documents I requested. Is there any news? Thank you, Chandler.
13, it's cut off a bit here, but this one is June 1st, 2021, from Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson, same subject line. Could you read that response?
Sorry for the late response. I'm running around grabbing everything on my spare time. It's been a hectic day due to recent events. Thanks for your patience, Alyssa.
June 1st, 2021, Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson, same subject line. What does she say here?
I won't be able to access your transcripts or get this certification degree without the key to the records room. I'll let you know when it arrives.
Email 11, June 4th, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. What do we have here?
Could you add me to any open time for next week?
And you added the word open, just for the record, it's spelled wrong, correctly?
I did. In the email, it's spelled O-O-E-N.
Thank you. Email 10, June 4th, 2021, Alyssa Brandt responds to Chandler Halderson in the schedule change email string and says what?
Yeah, no problem. How does Thursday at 11:30 sound?
Email 9, June 4th, Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt. He responds perfect.
Correct.
Email 8, we're into a new subject line. So the subject is just scheduling from Chandler Halderson. Would you mind just opening the document to confirm who email 8 was sent to? I know it was cut off here.
So email 8 is sent to Alyssa Brandt64@gmail.com from Chandler. Subject is scheduling. The body is, good morning. My advisor, Aaron, took today and tomorrow off. Who will I be sent to and at what time?
And we're going to have the same question for a couple of these. We just tried to fit them in the screen as best we could. Number 7, that's the June 10th, 2021 email responding to scheduling. Who were the parties in that email?
This email is to Chandler Halderson from Alyssa Brandt.
And could you read the body of that?
Good morning, Chandler. You are not on the list to be picked up today. When was your meeting scheduled for?
Same questions for number 6. Who were the parties of that email sent on June 10th?
This email is to Alyssa Brandt from Chandler Halderson.
Okay, and read the body if you could.
It was for today at 11:30 with Aaron Hoover.
Number 5, same questions. Who were the parties in this June 10th email? It was obviously from Alyssa Brandt. Who was it to?
Chandler Halderson.
And regarding scheduling, what did that read?
Oh, no, I didn't give you a date. You are still all set for your meeting on June 17th, next Thursday. I advise you to keep this meeting because the wait list is well past 50 students.
Question for number 4, June 10th. Who were the parties of that email?
This email is to Alyssa Brandt from Chandler Halderson.
Okay, and read the body if you could.
Is there still the possibility of me picking up the documents I requested, or has Aaron sent my transcripts already?
Number 3, email from Bart Halderson to Alyssa Brandt 64, responding, or it was a forward to schedule changes. The forward that appears in the subject matter indicates that at some point that email was forwarded.
That's correct.
Okay, and what does the email body read?
Alyssa, this is unacceptable. We have been dealing with this issue for well over a year now. It has been costing us money the longer the delays have continued. I'm not sure of the professionalism of the advisors, but it sure seems like they will take off at the drop of a hat and it messes up the whole schedule. Chandler and I have both rearranged our schedules to meet with an advisor today, and I expect you to find a way to make that happen.
Email 2, from Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt, subject late. What does that read?
I'm currently heading to the hospital. I will not make my meeting. I remember there is a wait list, but I still will need my meeting rescheduled as soon as possible.
And number 1, June 21st, 2021, from Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt. What does this say?
The subject is contact information. The body is there a phone number I could call for getting a new appointment?
And that was the last email in that grouping?
That's correct.
A couple of the same questions. When it comes to Alyssa Brandt, did it appear to you in reviewing those emails that she was purporting to be a student advisor at Madison College or MATC?
It did.
And did she ever advise any students other than Chandler Halderson?
No, she did not.
Showing you exhibit number 565 again. When it comes to Alyssa Brandt, who's second in the column there, is the IP address that account was created at, alyssabrandt64@gmail.com? Is that the Halderson home's IP address?
Yes, it is.
And the birth date used when that account was created, is that Chandler Halderson's birthday?
Yes, it is.
So there was a mention in these emails of someone named Aaron Hoover. You looked into that email account as well?
Yes, we did.
Showing you what's been marked in this case, is exhibit number 476. Could you just page through that and make sure you could answer the question of what are you looking at there? Or what is that document?
Uh, 476 is the Aaron Hoover matc@gmail.com Google search warrant return, specifically the emails.
I'll move 476 into evidence.
Subject to any
Subject to any
objection?
prior rulings, no further objection.
It is received.
And I
And
asked
it
to
may be
publish.
published.
Thank you, Judge. Let's start with email 17. I think we're all used to this now, but what is email 17?
Email 17 is from Google in regards to finish setting up your new Google account.
Sure. And this one was on what date was this Google account set up?
May 28th, 2021.
Let's talk about email 16 from Aaron Hoover, matc@gmail.com to Chandler Halderson. Subject is new schedule. Schedule is spelled wrong, but it's new schedule. Could you read the body of that email for us?
Good morning. My name is Aaron Hoover from Madison College's advisement team. Today we are missing 3 advisors. Following the first come, first served policy, I will be taking some meetings from an absent coworker. My meetings will stay on course until 12:30, and then I will be taking over Ryan's meetings starting at 1. If you were meeting with Ryan today at 10 a.m., you are now at 1 p.m. with me. If you were with me after 12:30 today, you will be with me on Tuesday morning. So my 1 p.m. meeting from today will be moved to 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. If there are questions or scheduling issues, contact me or Alyssa Brandt. My apologies for the inconvenience. Aaron Hoover.
Email 15, May 28th, 2021. If you could, in the binder, again, we're trying to format these to fit the screen. That was from Chandler Halderson. Who's that email to?
Email 15 is from Chandler Halderson to Aaron Hoover.
Okay. And same subject line. What does that read?
Unfortunately, I need my meeting to happen today. My employer and insurance need my transcripts and to see proof of my completion of my degree and solar certificate. I have been trying to get a meeting for a very long time, and I very well could lose my job over this. Is there a time you could put me in?
14. Who was that email from and to?
Email 14 is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
Okay. And same subject line. Could you read the body of that email for me?
I'm sorry to hear that, but we must follow policy on these difficult days. I will contact your employers for you if that will help out in any way.
Email 13, again, if you could tell us the parties of this email.
Email 13 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject line. Would you mind reading the body of the email?
Alyssa put me on the waiting list on the number 1 slot earlier this week. Does that apply to today if there are any cancellations during the changed scheduling?
Email 12, again, who are the parties of this email?
This email is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
All right. And subject line is the same. Could you read the body for me?
Yes, that will apply. If there is a cancellation of the updated schedule, you will receive an automated call to your cell 920-838-4549 of the time, building, and advisor you will be meeting with. There is no guarantee I will be hosting your meeting unless it is on Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Email 11, May 28th, 2021. Who are the parties to that email?
Email 11 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject line. What does the body read?
I can't tell you how many times I've heard this and never gotten in a meeting. Is there a phone number I can call for a more detailed explanation?
Same day, Mr. Halderson, and that one is to Mr. Hoover.
That's correct.
Okay. Same subject line. If you could read the body for the record.
I need to have a call with whomever is in charge in the next 30 minutes. I've been a student for over 3 years, and I will be treated fairly.
Number 9, again on the 28th. Who are the parties to that email?
Email 9 is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
All right. And if you could, read the body of that email.
I understand. I have forwarded your information to her now with a priority mark. She will be conducting meetings herself today, so her availability is limited.
Email 8 from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Hoover. Now we have a different subject line. This one's status. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning. I canceled the meeting for today because of work conflict and emailed you a list of questions and documents I need. When do you think I will be able to pick them up? Also, when I do get them, I have a few extra questions. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 7, June 1st, 2021, from Mr. Hoover to Mr. Halderson. The subject line is now in response to. What does the body say?
Good morning, Chandler. I'm sorry you can't make the meeting. I will gather the documents and let you know when I can get your certificate card and degree. In the meantime, I'll electronically send your transcripts and degrees out to the respective employer insurance agency. I will have Alyssa give you a call when everything is complete. Good luck on your meeting, Aaron Hoover.
Number 6, this is on June 1st. Who are the parties to this email?
Email 6 is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
And regarding that same subject matter, could you read the body?
Unfortunately, I don't have your insurance on file. Is there someone specific I can send them to?
Number 5, who are the parties to this email?
Email 5 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject matter. Would you mind reading the body for the record?
Okay, thank you. You can send the official link to bhalderson@bdo.com so he can forward it to the right people.
Email 4 from Mr. Hoover to Chandler Halderson, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, different subject matter. Now it's absence. What does Mr. Hoover have to say on June 10th?
Dear students, I am taking the rest of the week off due to a family emergency. If possible, my meetings will be reassigned by availability and relevance. If you have any questions, please give our secretary, Alyssa, a call or email. My apologies, Aaron Hoover.
Email 3, the 10th. Could you please tell us the parties to this email?
Email 3 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject matter or no? In response to that subject matter, please read the body.
Have I been picked up by a different advisor and at what time?
Email 2 from Mr. Hoover, matc@gmail.com to Chandler Halderson. New subject line here, meeting time and date. Would you mind reading the body for the court record?
Good afternoon, Chandler. I'm sorry to hear about your recent trip to the ER. I have scheduled you 2 appointments, so if there's a conflict with the first, there's always a second. July 20th at 2:45 p.m. and July 23rd at 10:30 a.m. If neither of these work, let me know as soon as possible. In the meantime, you are holding slot number 22 on the wait list.
And number 1. Number 1 is just a Google email that we've looked at before.
Yes, it is.
So the last email in any of these accounts is the 29th of June, 2021.
That's correct.
A couple of the same questions as before. As it comes to Mr. aaron.hoover@matc@gmail.com, he was purporting to be an advisor at Madison College.
Yes, he was.
Did he ever advise any students other than Chandler Halderson?
No, he did not.
And looking at Exhibit 565, the IP address used to create that Gmail account, is that the IP address of the Halderson household?
Yes, it is.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Detective. You can return back to the table. Counsel, it's been 90 minutes. Would this be a good point to break, or do you have something very short?
This would be a fine point to break.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our morning break at this point then. Thank you.
All right, for the jury.